I
looking at
Vicky, do you know how many people there are?
Hey, Don.
No, I
Hi.
don't know.
I keep on
What's
forgetting
up,
which
Ego?
freaking channel we have to go to.
Right, there was that week that one server was crashed, so he fled to another server.
Oh yeah, the rat server fucking was shitting the bed one week, so we went over to CAC.
Okay, let's see. DM, please tell me you're recapping, or someone who
Wait,
took notes.
why is my name in that link?
Hmm?
Why is my name in that link?
Well, like,
Oh, that's cute.
The last link in general chat?
Sadly, it's not. That's an L, not an I.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Oh,
LGA3. Now I
Yeah,
see it.
S content hyphen.
I made it specifically for you.
Aw, thank you.
Okay, I didn't see that post from before. 100%, that's a word in Alabama.
I believe it.
I use that word and I'm
Yank.
not from Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Or American.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you ain't seen this Diller yet? It's like, what the fuck you just say? Have you not seen this quesadilla yet? It is delicious.
So I got a fucking burrito on deck for dinner. Hype.
Okay, unfortunately, I would love to like follow the rules and recap, but I have no fucking clue what happened last time. I don't.
I'm trying to find my my
Battle
tab
snake.
pack for this campaign.
There's a snake in a tunnel.
Ah, there it is.
I don't
Commerce
remember
campaign
Snake.
tab pack.
You could
There
tell
we
me,
go.
but I will not.
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking tunnel.
I remember that, but I still don't remember the snake. Oh wait! I remember now. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, the giant snake that we taunted from the water, and we fell asleep in the tunnel
I
near the
remember
water.
we
and
went
the
back and
snake said,
forth
"Fuck
because we were
this."
like, "Fuck the snake." You guys were afraid of
Yep.
snakes, so we were just like,
Yep.
"All right, we'll take the other way." But then we were like, "Well, fuck this Cthulhu boy." I
Yep.
like the other way better, and then yeah.
And then I was on watch and had Lulu stab someone to say, "Hey, snake here."
Yep. And then we fought a snake.
Then there was
Killed it kind of easily. We didn't take much damage.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Nah, you didn't take shit. You guys were rolling like gods.
Yeah, I don't think I took any notes from that session, because that session was, hey, let's go down a tunnel. Hey, this tunnel sucks. Let's go down this other tunnel. Hey, this tunnel's worse. Let's go back to that other tunnel. Let's sleep. Oh, wait, there's a snake here. Fuck.
Would you like me to recap?
That was basically the recap.
So,
Fill in the gaps.
we started last session when we last met our adventurers. Actually, hold on.
Adventurers, that's a little too much.
It's a strong word.
Yeah.
Oh god,
When
that's
we
very
last
loud.
came across our party, our adventurers were face to face with a band of orcs and goblins in the depths of the Underdark, looking to make a deal, or rather looking to facilitate a deal for bombs in exchange for slaves, orcish sulfur bombs in exchange for slaves. Our heroes respectfully decided to leave the slaves above ground with Brother Menlo, and went with the plan of trying to convince the orcs that the other party members, other than Daryl, were slaves. Things went to shit. It did not go well. Ended up having to basically kill the orcs and the two goblins they were with. As things start going south, the orcs sound a war horn, and you hear another war horn answer from deeper in the Underdark. War horn ended up like not being answered once or twice, and we weren't sure what to make of it in character. So basically, the party just starts hauling ass. And I'll turn off. No.
Party starts hauling ass, ends up finding their way to this underground lake. Kiri tries to fly over the lake. She can get a couple 100 feet out over it, but eventually the stalactites get too like low on the ceiling for her to continue flying without submerging herself to like keep progressing through the lake. And she sees a vaguely serpentine shape like rise out of the water. She can't really discern what it is, but like she knows it's like serpent-like, but she didn't really get like a solid look at it. So you guys are like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this. Underwater snake doesn't sound good. Like, let's just go somewhere else. You guys spend about 2 hours going somewhere else. You find a cavern. littered with stalagmites and stalactites. Come across a nasty roper without the aid of Scatha, who was pretty key in defeating the last one you guys faced. So you double back again, or you double back. You were like, "Fuck this! We'll try our odds with the snake." You ended up reaching the lake where you had first arrived by the end of the day. So you all decided to rest in the tunnel, like leading up to it, like about 70 or 80 feet off the shore of the lake. The snake tried running up on you guys in your sleep, and you fucked it up. And we are all standing here now. It is a couple hours before what would be sunrise if we weren't underground. The corpse of this giant constrictor snake is just like littered in this end of the tunnel leading towards the shore.
Oh yeah, we took out some fangs for daggers.
Yep.
Oh,
Did
that.
we
I have
level
no
up?
idea where the fuck
It's
I
probably
went
too
back
late to
down.
ask that now that we've started session, but did we level up?
No.
Where the fuck?
Wishful thinking, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are still level 4.
What diddly doos? Did I
Yep,
write that
and
down? I don't
we
remember.
still have not taken a long rest, because looking at my character sheet here,
Same.
yeah,
You have not.
yes. I'd like to do that now, please.
Alrighty.
Let's
So,
do that thing. Oh, actually, I probably wrote everything in here. I don't know.
Do we have a part of a long
Oh
rest?
wait, we don't
Do we have-
we don't have anyone that doesn't sleep anymore, do we?
We can risk the bunny.
get our Underdark on.
Well, I think between Anzu and the rabbit, the two of them, as long as Anzu doesn't need a rest. Or does Anzu get exhaustion?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The bunny technically does too.
I'm pretty freaking solid, TBH. Like, on everything, so I can take a rest. Or
And
I
if we
could
get into
skip a
some-
rest, and I could probably even take an exhaust if it needs be.
Yeah, if you skip the rest, I can prepare a lesser restoration. So in the morning, if you do manage to catch a point of exhaustion, I can just get rid of that.
Yeah, cause I'm solid. I'm solid on health points. I'm solid on everything. So yeah, I can take that. I can skip that rest.
Hold up. Okay, I looked back in chat. Kiri and Darrow. Okay, you both already went through your watches, so you each have 4 hours. And technically, Skulker has had his full rest, except for I think most of his rest, except for the fact that he's missing health. So.
So
If
we just go back to sleep for another 4 hours, and then we have a full rest.
Pretty
Or
much.
Yeah.
was the full rest broke?
Maybe
Alright.
a little less. Probably call it 2 or 3. Because I know you both. Skulker's had his rest already. This occurred about like halfway through his watch, which would have been a 4-hour cycle. So it'd probably be closer to like go down for another 2 hours.
Wait, what?
Okay.
I'm confused.
I'm
don't need
keeping
to
up.
rest as
Yeah,
much
with
as
the
How would
long rest is like
Skulker
8
have
hours.
his
We already
rest?
got 4 hours. Skulker only needs
Yeah.
4 hours.
Skulker
Okay.
was third in the watch order.
Yeah, he went last, so he got to like sleep fully and then just wake up for his watch.
Okay.
Wait, then why am I missing 2 hit dice? I'm taking those back. You can't stop me.
We used those before when we did a short rest for some reason.
Okay.
Probably after the roper.
Yeah.
Word. All right. Yeah. So what?
Someone
2
just
hour
tell
rest.
me what
Share
we
the
want,
picture.
and I'll do it.
All right. So, did the picture go?
Yes.
Yes.
Did looked creepy AF.
We find ourselves on the shore of the underground lake with the dead constrictor snake at our feet.
Yo, right.
So, who wants to roll me a d20?
I do.
None of us.
Do it.
Oh, go for it.
Speak
No,
for
no.
yourself. I want to know where I stand today. Decent.
Yo, you're above average.
On the shoulders of giants.
Actually,
On the shoulders.
you're not above average.
Yeah. So you guys finish your rest. You probably guess it's somewhat daytime, morning time right now, but who the fuck knows? Once you're down in the Underdark for a couple days, it kind of starts to get tougher to keep track.
Yup.
So the lake is very placid. And the time you were sleeping, there weren't really any like loud thrashes or anything like that. There's the sound of like soft like water and stuff dripping from the ceiling. Is that going through?
Yes. What? Which part?
Hearing the general ambiance music.
How about that?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's now.
That's now.
So with this sort of like idea in mind, like you haven't heard any large thrashes, but if there was something smaller breaking the surface of the water, it might be tougher to hear over the sound of these droplets. For the most part, the water is fairly placid though, apart from like the very small ripples of these drops from the ceiling. Like there's no waves in this underground lake.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's mostly flat water.
What's smaller but lethal? Piranhas. Fuck.
You know, we have no idea what's going to be in this water until we get halfway through it.
Ah.
And we also don't know how deep it is. Is there anything in the vicinity that could be used to make a makeshift boat?
The snake.
Does it float?
I highly doubt it.
The snake's corpse does not float. You could potentially fashion a watertight suit out of it, or maybe like some sort of pack to keep your armor in if you wanted to avoid rust. But as far as a boat, I think you'd be fairly out of luck.
Can you describe the cavern to me again?
Surely. You can see, well actually, waking up from the rest, your dark vision from the fungus would have worn off. So it is black as fuck in here.
For me, yes.
If you want to eat your last share of it, I can give you a roll more. Like, of a description, then black as fuck.
Temporarily, I'll take black as fuck.
Alright. Skulker and Darrow.
Idea I have.
What would I remember?
Oh, right, yeah, you'd remember. So you can see about, like, 300 feet out, and, like, well, rather, when you flew out about 300 feet before the stalactites started getting too close to the surface of the water for you to be able to fly comfortably. There's a couple stalagmites, particularly large ones, poking out from the surface here and there, and there's stalactites littered on the ceiling. But for the most part, it's just water. Like, there isn't really a shoreline apart from where you're standing.
I am wondering if we can skin some of the snake and use it as like makeshift water buoys. Like you trap some air over the surface of the water and twist it up so it's kind of like a balloon, and we use that to float.
Oh yeah.
Like
so
you're still going to have your
pants.
legs in the water, but if it gets deeper than what you can stand in, you don't need to keep treading water. Like you're kind of floating on a beach ball.
You could also use it, like, if you maneuver right, you could use it to capture air so you could stay at the top of the water.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You can certainly try. Anyone who would like to attempt constructing this thing, roll me survival checks.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Sure.
I'll take a survival check. Real quick.
How?
Because you're a hero. Clearly. I'm not. I'm just gonna roll 14s for the rest of my life.
So everyone kind of... Do you guys light up a torch for this process?
Clearly Clearly I didn't.
Lulu needs help with hers.
Lulu is large enough to be able
Lulu
to make
is
a
like
snakeskin
not
balloon.
even an actual thing. You could just dismiss her and she'll be fine.
I know. That's the joke.
I don't know if
So
Sometimes I imagine that this is not Joshua making puns about Lulu. It's actually Skulker, who is a grizzly as fuck dude with his tiny rabbits. Like, but Lulu needs light. Like, Skulker, it's your pet rabbit. It doesn't matter. Don't say that to me. Don't worry, Lulu.
He doesn't know what he's saying, does he? I said that to my cat, by the way. You all can't see the direction I'm looking in, but so you all kind of like you skin some of the snake, you break out like some of the more sturdy chunks of hide that are left. Skin hide? Would that be an adequate way to refer to snake skin? Anyway,
That's literally
I guess.
disgusting.
using some of the sinew and muscles, you kind of actually manage to sort of tie together these like. Darrow's the one who gets the hang of it first, and he actually manages to make like an airtight ball with air in it, about the size of a basketball. Not a complete like it won't carry you, but it'll certainly reduce the labor of treading water 100%. And once Darrow figures it out, he's able to instruct Kiri and Skulker in their like craft of this thing well enough where you all now have a usable, I want to call it like a snake beach ball or something like that, but like not as big
We
as a
made
beach ball.
snakeskin balloons.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where I got this idea from, but it just popped into my head. So I guess I try it out.
Did your balls drop during the break?
I guess I'll just, keep sharp things, which is going to be very difficult for me, away from it and kind of tread out into the water and I guess lean on it and check and see that if it works how I expect it to work.
So you're gonna have this thing like under you, kind of like on your stomach, as like you're sort of like belly down on the water, kind of like swimming out.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I'm gonna
kind of like doggy paddling, like the.
What we could do is to speed up the process. I mean, I could fly over the water as much as we can get until like the stalactites get too low, and then I could go on.
And then drop each one of us there, and then fly back, or
that,
are you just gonna
or
scout
I
ahead?
can scout ahead, or I can literally kind of just pull the two of you on top of the water while I fly.
I don't know if you can.
I don't think. Yeah, I know Aarakocras, their flight speed won't work if they're wearing anything heavier than medium armor. Might even be light armor, but even if it was, I know that's like 40 pounds, I think, tops. So I don't think it would allow you to really carry anyone bigger than.
But I'm not gonna carry them. I'm literally just kind of like pulling them alongside water. Water would displace weight.
Oh,
so, like,
we're jet skiing on
like
snakeskin balls.
Yes.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right. So yeah, you take some rope and we'll hold on to it, and you grab it with your feet, with your foot hands. Your foot hands.
Yeah, go for it.
Or do I have any rope left?
Do we need to roll something inane for it, or?
No.
Okay.
Is there any way we can get like a piece of meat from the snake?
Hold on to your toes.
I have a rope.
A piece of meat from the snake?
Yeah,
there's lots of it.
We could check the water for said piranhas, etc. before we do this.
Oh, it's like basically chumming the water in front of us to see if anything reacts.
Yes.
Also, snake meat I hear is pretty good. It'd be better than
but we
rations.
have no way to refrigerate unless you know how to make jerky of some sorts within the next 10 minutes.
We could just eat it later today.
We could try.
I don't think snake meat is going to go bad in a
I'm
day.
pretty sure we had this discussion last time, and that's how we figured out that the bag of holding wouldn't, or quote-unquote bag of holding, wouldn't refrigerate the meat.
It's true. It would last for like a day and then rot.
Yeah, we could, I guess, if we're gonna do a long rest later, we could definitely use up the snake meat. So, I mean,
Yeah.
pack some up.
Yeah,
I'm
so just
gonna-
roughly cut a chunk of stuff up and just throw slices out in front of us if you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Cool.
Well, if you choose to pack up the snake meat, I will allow you to, but I'll
I'd rather
pieces to
not
chop.
waste any more time here.
Okay. I'm checking the waters with the snake meat.
Cool.
I would take the snake meat, put it on a rope, and then pull it into the water and see if anything reacts with it while I kind of just fly.
So you fly out as far as you can, and nothing reacts, like within the water, that you can fly through. You do hear the thrashing of something out beyond the stalactites. Because of how low they are to the surface, you can't really see like what it's like beyond them. Like they're almost like touching, or they're almost like halfway submerged in the water at this point that you can fly to.
So this cavern used to not be filled with water, is what you're saying?
Don't know. So did you
I mean-
drag meat out with you, or did you drag us?
The meat
That was the
first.
meat, I thought.
Okay. Right, so nothing took the bait.
No.
So I guess it's our turn now. We're a lot more efficient
Yes.
with live bait
I would
now.
like to warn you that there is something else out there, from what I can hear.
Well, I am not going back and dealing with any more ropers. So fuck
Touché.
that. Let's go.
Alright. Then I shall jet ski you as far as I can.
So, Kiri brings you out to this same like 300-foot range where these stalactites start like hanging down into the water. They're almost like a portcullis that are like dropped in, and they're kind of obscured. Also, have you lit a torch yet or eaten the fungus?
I
Only
would
'cause-
probably carry a torch out with me to the 300 feet. I don't know
Alright,
what I would do
yeah.
with it like afterwards, but
Did Aarakocra have arms and wings, or do they have...
arms
They have
and
arms
wings
and wings.
Okay.
separate.
Gotcha. There's two kinds of bird people, and I get them mixed up.
So, the two of you with dark vision,
Yes.
you can see out beyond these stalactites just like a vast, like open expanse of water that you can't even really see the other side of.
Oh, goody.
It's like pretty
Looks like
placid.
we've got a ways to go. How cold is the water?
Fairly cold, actually. Like, you're not getting hypothermia right now, but if you spent like a couple of hours in it,
Did we get a gasp reaction when we walked into it, or was it like a...
I mean, you
just kinda
get that
shrugged your
same.
shoulders like,
You and Josh know how it is when you're entering a pool and like your nuts hit the level of the water. You got to be like, and then you can kind of like slip the rest of the way in, and it's not too bad.
Yeah, like
It's
that.
kind of like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ego, I'm sorry. I don't mean to exclude you from this experience.
No, it's
Well,
fine.
she's the one flying, so she don't know.
That's true.
Can I get myself past these stalactites and kind of with the torch successfully?
You could stand on our heads as we paddle underneath, and you might be able to fly up again.
and then scout ahead before they get themselves into the waters that may or may not be a danger to them.
Our heads. Someone's putting words in my mouth.
Well, I figure if she stands on my head, then I'd sink. But if she stands on our heads, we both might still stay somewhat afloat.
I am pretty light. So, I probably won't push you under, TBH.
Okay. I would just go, neck level, where currently I'm floating like belly level.
Alright. Skulker. You feel something brush up against your leg. Not big, but something kind of just like brushes past you.
Is it inviting? Like it wants to play footsie?
Nah. More just like fleeting. Like all things are in this life. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be depressing.
The most
Is
existential thing
Kiri's
you can
foot still on my head?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell her, hey, can you move your foot? I need to look underwater. Something's playing footsie with me.
I would get over to the other side as soon as I can.
DM, what's playing footsie with me?
I guess you pop your head under the water, look around.
So there's nothing really there when you poke your head under the water, but after, like, you keep your eyes open, and it's at the point where, like, you're kind of starting to, like, you need to come up for air. You see in the periphery of the torchlight that's breaching down into the water, there's like a small kind of fish. You see the fish has like milky white eyes. Fish kind of just like swimming off like some tangent to where you guys are now. Like, it doesn't brush up against you again, but it just like might have bumped into you. Or like something similar. Like, it wasn't like a big, like, not another constrictor snake or like a tentacle or anything like that.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
just a fish.
What direction is it going?
Kind of just like,
Whatever.
that's what I'm looking for. Perpendicular to your path now. Like, it's kind of just crossing in front of you
Okay.
guys.
I hear sometimes these underwater fish are attracted to light because there's no light where they normally live, so they just see this flash and they're just like, "What the fuck is that?" And they go and check it out. Probably what happened.
They're clearly just attracted to me. Keep moving, team.
Typically, these
Yeah,
fish are
clearly,
actually
you just
blind.
smell so good.
So, Kiri,
Yes.
is Anzu, like, on your person?
Anzu would be flying alongside me.
Oh, right. Though he's small and can fly. Okay. Don't mind me. It's been a long 3 weeks. So I need you to make me just a regular dexterity check.
A dex check.
For the Anzu or for the Kiri?
For the Kiri. For, like, staying above water, standing on their two heads, and, like, maneuvering through the stalactites.
Clearly, I'm a winner.
So, like,
I
your
love
wings
water.
are kind of too, like, they're protruding too far off your back to really make this feasible. You kind of just, like, can't squeeze in the ways that you need to. There is a balloon for you, though.
There's a balloon for me, though. Can Anzu go ahead?
Yeah,
Anzu has dark
he's
vision.
small enough where you can kind of just maneuver through him.
Okay.
I wouldn't let him get too far, though. Who knows if something's just going to snatch him up.
He would be flying above water.
Yeah, my point still stands.
Okay, I mean, I don't know how much Anzu could understand, but I would try to communicate that I want him to stay close, but I want him to keep an eye out because he has dark vision. And I would, like, push him through the stalactites ahead.
Yeah, you'd communicate that to him.
So I guess Kiri joins us in the water.
I join you in the water. And not a happy place for a bird.
Nope, that's exactly why I tried to let you keep up there, but I guess you're not so good at dancing through stalactites.
No.
God, there's so many cool images I want to link you guys, but I don't want to, like, make you freak out and think it's related to the game in any way. Like,
You can just
He's
tell
just
it's
getting
not
so
related
many-
to the game.
Getting so many mind
this
pictures.
one. Oh wow, it's not. There we go.
Oh man, I'm almost out of whiskey.
So, stalactites, this, like, particularly low section of them, it's about maybe 8 feet, 9 feet. So you kind of have to, like, weave through them, and, like, they're protruding down fairly far into the water, so you kind of have to, like, submerge and, like, Darrow, now you feel like a small kind of waterborne creature brush up against your leg. Here, you do manage to keep the torch lit, unless you intentionally doused it.
I did not.
Okay, so the torch is still lit. You make it to the other side of the water, or you make it to the other side of this barrier, and you just see a vast expanse of, like, almost looks like an underground, like, I call it, like, like, I don't want to say it'd be like one of the Great Lakes, but it's not like an average lake. It's also the fact that you can't really see, like, as far as you can above ground here kind of adds to the illusion of this seemingly endless lake.
Is it endless in all sides or just in front of us?
So, looking out now, you realize you were in kind of like a side, like, reservoir almost of this lake, and now you're actually entering like the main body of it, and it is just like massive.
Is there any breeze?
Make me perception checks.
Fucking die. I'm done today.
So, there's no breeze, but you do feel a slight current. I'm gonna do some more like freehand bullshit drawing on the board right now, just for like visual. Let's say this is the wall of stalactites you guys just came from and swam under. You feel a very soft current pulling this way. So let's call it east.
Okay.
Like incredibly, like a very small pull. You wouldn't even
And
notice.
it's just
you bump
open
into
in all sides.
Yeah.
Like just forever.
Yeah. So you're sitting there like waiting to feel a breeze, and you realize Skulker kind of just like drifts into you without really moving or anything like that. And you realize like, wait a second.
False. Skulker values his personal space.
All right.
Would I
just
be
kind of,
able
I
to
can
manage?
feel the cloak that's on my body just kind of slowly start to drift over in that direction. I'm like, oh, there must be a current.
Would I be able to manage to get myself out of the water and into the air?
You'd have to climb on these two lads, but you could.
You can climb up on my back and then shake off and try to take off.
Yeah, do Aarakocras secrete like the duck oil that lets them just like...
I assume so. They're predatory birds.
Yeah.
They have waterproof.
There are diving falcons that dive into the water, but I think what keeps them dry is air cavitation.
Yeah, I'm down with that. You would have to shake off, but you could get up in the air again.
I would like to ask them to be able to perform such action.
You're gonna have to convince Skulker to link arms with Darrow, though. Because they need to... Oh, that's for him, not me. Sorry.
I'm gonna need a persuasion roll.
His call, not mine.
Are you serious? You know my charisma is like negative.
Sometimes the worst stats give you the best rolls.
Yeah, let's see, you go first.
She does an average job of persuading you.
I'm going to allow this.
So Skulker and Darrow begrudgingly link arms as Kiri kind of like climbs herself back on top of you guys and gives like a shake, and you see like the cascade of water droplets that like come off of her sort of like litter the surface of the water around you with like very light like ripples that just extend outwards into the abyss, and you are able to get back into the air, where Anzu is kind of just like flying like over you guys, not straying too far, but you can tell he is kind of just like looking around with like natural curiosity.
So there is a current going off to our right. I don't know whether that could mean if there's a sinkhole that the water's flowing into, or if this leads to like a river or a waterfall or what, but at the very least going with the current is going to be easier than against it.
The plus side
or if it's literally the gods of this world pushing us in that direction for plot purposes.
The plus is I can now check, and I can now also pull you against the current. So there's that. Me being in the air, it means that I can go scout and that I can pull you.
Well, should we just float along with the current for a little bit while you fly around?
You could also hold on to these stalactites. I mean, they are like the one stable thing you have near if you're looking to just
If
be
there
idle
are
in a
things
spot.
under the water, I think having a floating thing is going to be less appetizing than a stagnant thing.
Fair enough.
That's just my own 2 cents.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
It's up to you, Skulker. Kiri's doing a walkabout. You want to hold on to a thing or float around?
If you're like,
Skulker's already floating on the lazy river.
That's kind of what I was
It's
thinking.
already like
too.
6 or 7 feet away from you. Like, yeah, dude, whatever. Like, just fucking go. All right. So you guys are choosing to just go with the flow, lol.
Yeah, we're floating by. I'm lazily kind of paddling water, like I'm like the dog that hasn't quite realized that it's floating yet. It still thinks it needs to paddle, but it's like, okay, okay.
Like when you hold a puppy in the water and it starts doing the
Yeah,
paddle.
it's
but
just
like,
doing the paddle. It's just like, I don't trust you.
Little puppies. All right, yeah.
do you want me
So
to
I
go
need.
towards the current or against the current?
That is up to you.
I'm asking the party.
Them, I guess.
Would you like me to check
Well, I
where
would
you're
say go
floating to?
check out down towards the current, and then
Okay.
if you don't find anything, just fly around in a circle, see if you find anything, and then come back to us.
Okay. DM, what'd you say?
Hmm?
You said something. You said you need, and you never finished the sentence.
Oh, perception check. Now I just need to know which way you're flying.
Going towards the current and perception.
Towards the current. Okay. All right.
Perception is fuck all dark in here.
So you fly around for almost like 15 minutes, maybe a little more, and you realize that like this is I mean, you were aware of this to begin with, but it's not until you really start flying around that you begin to get an appreciation for how large this underground body of water is. The ceilings here are roughly 60 feet high in some places to like 100 feet off the surface of the lake in others, and then there are there are other parts where the cave kind of drops lower, but not anywhere as low as the part you just came out of that you've encountered at least. Towards the current, you can see that as you start getting closer that way, that you hear the sound of running water. You start to get like far enough away from the party before you can get there where you're not too sure if you should keep flying because you're literally like out of sight of them. You
Have I
don't know what's going
noticed
on with them.
any shells or such that might be a stable land?
No land out here. There are a couple stalactites protruding from the water that must be, you can tell looking at them in the locations that they're situated, they must be very large, to be like sticking out of the water like this. There are like spare stalactites here and there hanging about. Oh, I guess lounging about, or no, stalagmites, excuse me, protruding from the surface of the water in some places that must be fairly large. Would you like to get closer towards the running water, or do you want to head back to the party?
Closer to the running water.
Okay. So, I need you to roll me another perception check.
Fuck off.
So, on your way over towards the surface, you've been seeing like you've caught glimpses of like a couple like fish from your flight path here and there, but you haven't gotten glimpses of anything nearly as intimidating as a snake. You can assume that this is what things like these are what the snake might have been feeding on. So you fly for another 15 minutes. Wow. And you get to this like sort of hole in the wall where like the stalactite starts coming down again, and there's almost like this like you see the ripples in the water also as you're getting like closer towards this sound, and there's almost kind of just like I want to call it a waterfall, like maybe some sort of river from higher up on the surface that is like draining down into the Underdark or something like that. You can't really be too sure. Roll me a survival check, please.
I should stop rolling. I'm
Dude.
just gonna stop rolling.
No, get these out now.
The non-combat crit fails are not nearly as punishing. So, you can't really infer anything about like where this water might be coming from.
I know nothing about caves and I know nothing about water.
Aarakocras are pretty out of their element in underground lakes. Pretty much as out of your element as you can get. That being said, you can infer one thing about this, and it's that wherever the current is flowing to must be a lower elevation than wherever you are now.
Okay. I would try to head back to the party and let them know that there might be a drop ahead. In fact, that there is a drop ahead. Don't know how far.
So,
You're gonna have to do something to find us, I bet.
Darrow and Skulker.
Yes.
Which one of you would like to do the ceremonial, roll it, and call it high or low?
Hi. I'm Skulker. Hi. Fuck.
Oh, we're gonna die. With these rolls, we're gonna die. We don't need a snake. We're just gonna start.
The non-combat nat ones aren't so bad.
Hey, it wasn't a 1, it was a 5.
It may as well have been a 1.
Oh, bad.
How much luck do I have to roll 2 nat ones in a row? Math boy.
A 1 in 400? Is that
Yes.
right?
It is.
So, in your time drifting, you watch Kiri's torchlight kind of like go in like bigger and bigger circles, and then eventually she's kind of just like a dot, sort of somewhere like vaguely off to like the west in the cave, and you really can't see her. Anzu has been tailing her, but he is not emitting light, so he's just a fucking shadow in the dark right now. You've been feeling kind of smallish things, like brushing up against your legs now and then, or like you'll feel like a stalagmite that you bump into that's submerged under the water, and you've kind of just been drifting further and further downstream. You notice that Kiri's been gone almost a half hour now, and it's at this point where
Has the current been picking up or steady?
the current has been gradually picking up, but not enough where it's concerning. However, you have now reached a point where you can hear what sounds like maybe a waterfall far off in the distance, something you couldn't really hear before. You can infer that because of the way that sound travels in these caves, like whatever this thing is still must be pretty far if you couldn't hear it before and can hear it now. It's not like it's going to be around the corner. And I need you to both roll me perception checks, please.
Okay.
Does anyone here have thalassophobia?
What
what?
does that mean?
Fear of water you can't see the bottom of.
Oh.
IRL
no.
or like
Personally, a little bit.
IRL. I haven't. Finding these pictures that I was looking for creeped me the fuck out, like shivers down my spine. So when I tell you both that you catch a glimpse of something larger than a fish looking at you from under the surface of the water, you see this.
Where are these pictures?
You're not really...
Okay, that is creepy.
and it's fleeting. Like it just like swims, like not even between you, like in the same way that the fish before kind of just. And I just pinged the chat, so
Yeah.
you can see where it
Yep,
is.
I got
I'll
it.
have a little one. Kind of just like swims like perpendicular to the path you're going, and like you can tell it's like looking at you, but doesn't really interact with you. Also, if anyone can tell me, yeah, I was gonna say, is that a sea lion? I don't know what the fuck
Yes,
it
it
is.
is
Yes,
a
it's
sea
a
lion.
sea lion.
Or you always looking at that picture scares the
You're
fuck out of me.
creeped
Goddamn.
out by a sea lion.
It's
That's
it's not
Yo, the
what
fish
it
are fucking
actually is.
ferocious,
It's
though.
the implication.
Thank you, Dennis.
So it's
Jeez,
at this
man.
moment you realize the snake might not have been the only big thing in this environment.
Yeah. The picking up of the current and the sounding of the waterfall makes me want to hold on to one of these stalagmites now.
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion as.
Go on.
I'm gonna make a still version of Flint that floats away from us. Just a decoy.
What's that phrase he uses? So Flint just like materializes in front of you and accents his brim as he kind of just drifts away further out into the because he doesn't like saying tips his hat because he thinks of neckbeards. What's it called?
Right.
So yeah,
He
Uh,
flourishes his hat.
Lowers his
Mhm.
brim.
however, it doesn't really seem to. Nothing reacts to the presence of this illusory Flint.
Cool. Yeah, I
So
definitely
Dennis
want to
got
hold
him.
on to a stalagmite and stop my motion. If I can find
Okay.
one that's big enough to stop against.
Skulker, you want to keep drifting?
Just a little bit to get a little space.
I getting or you
Like, I
getting?
don't
Not
want to
both of
be
us.
both of us.
My
So
evil DM is telling me like exploit his need for personal space, but like I don't know. I'm not feeling too sinister today.
it's not for personal space. It's so that like the animal can't like have both of us in such a narrow cone of view. It has to keep its distance if it wants to keep eyes on both of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually really smart.
Skulker with both like the 300 IQ and the 30 IQ. Nah, I'm just kidding. 300. 15. There we go. All right. So you're thinking like maybe like what, like 20, 30 feet
Yeah,
apart,
20
something
feet.
like that.
20
20
to 30,
feet?
yeah.
Okay. So you kind of like do you exchange words, or do you see like Darrow kind of just like grab onto a stalactite and you just kind of like yeah, and just like drift a little bit? Like are words exchanged, or
Nah.
I don't
just
say
kinda-
a thing.
do you make eye contact at all? Out of curiosity, just because I'm picturing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
once he
That's true.
lands on the next stalagmite, I'm gonna like nod or bob my head or whatever. I'm like, yeah. Not
Okay.
actually say it, you know.
These guys hang around for another like 10 minutes or so, and it's at this point you see the torchlight of signaling the approaching Kiri start growing bigger and bigger in the distance. Kiri, I need you to roll me a perception check.
Dope. We all know how this is gonna go.
Here we go. 1 in 8,000. Oh, damn.
1 in 8 for the third hat trick
Nat
natural
one,
one.
yep.
So you catch a glint off of Darrow's armor, I guess, as the torchlight starts to like lap its way forward into the darkness, and you see our two friends hanging about. They're clinging to stalactites right now. They've drifted a fair portion away from where they were, but not concerningly far. Now, Darrow and Skulker, I need you to also roll me a perception check, please.
Oh boy.
All right.
Damn. Why? Darrow. Everything I roll, you roll significantly better.
Don't talk about it. If you talk about it, it's gonna stop.
Better than you.
Exactly! I want to roll better than you, damn it! There, now I've jinxed it again. DM, what up? What's
I'm
good?
trying to find a good visual aid, but I might just say fuck it. If I don't find one in 20 seconds, I'm gonna tap. Give me just a second. Okay. So as Kiri starts flying closer to you, you see something emerge from the water, not menacingly, almost kind of like lazily. It's behind her, closer towards where she was like exploring, and you see this sort of like, wow, this is a long ass link. Holy shit! It's
I bet you can chop off
the
that.
link is over 2,000 characters long, so I can't send it.
What?
Give
Send
me
it in
just a sec.
pieces.
This can't be a fucking thing. I refuse.
Was it a Google image search? Because sometimes Google makes some broken ass.
You see a long sort of thing, and you can tell that it is not a snake. It's a tentacle that kind of just like lazily works its way out of the water, not even towards Kiri, but just like almost as if something is stretching, and then just like it subsides as Kiri like flies up to you guys and just like insert whatever Kiri says here.
Hey, what's up? There's probably a drop later on in the cave.
What's up, guys? Hello.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, there's a little more.
I
than
heard
that.
the,
Let's try
the
other
running
way.
water, and felt the current picking up. So I grabbed a stalagmite and hung out here. So there was nothing promising other than falling into a deeper cave down that way.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess could you give us a tow and we go look somewhere else?
Sure can, buddy boy. Which way? Which direction would you like to go?
You mostly looked back that way, pointing.
Yes.
So did you look either that way or that way?
Yeah.
Let's go that way.
Okay. So I would drop down some rope for them to grab that so that I may pull them. And we can...
How is that torch doing?
How is that torch doing?
Not too bad. You got another hour of life left in it, probably.
Cool.
Cool.
I also know that technically torches are really only supposed to burn for like an hour in the real world. This ain't the real world. This is my world. I'm saying fuck that. I don't feel like micromanaging the shit out of torches every day. Just in case anyone's like wondering, like, hey, why do these torches burn for like 4 hours at a time? Like, that's why. Because I'm a lazy
Word.
A torch roll a survival check. Alrighty. So we got one length of rope, and you're gripping onto it with both your feet, and we're kind of just like parasailing almost. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, we're jet skiing.
Okay.
Skulker and Dow are jet skiing off of Kiri.
So you notice that the path Kiri begins taking you on is like in the direction that thing poked out of the water. Do you like say anything?
What?
Actually,
no.
So you said that it was from behind her.
And she was coming back from downstream.
She was exploring up where the current was coming from, right?
I thought she was exploring
No, I was
where the
calling
current
where
was
the
going.
current was going.
To.
Yeah, that's why.
And then I wanted to see where the current was flowing to.
Hence why my bodies are on
Hence why we heard. Hence why she heard trickling, like it was downstream, because it was falling down. Because down.
Yeah, I fucked up in my description then, because I said, what's it called? Like there's water coming from somewhere from above. I mean, obviously, but yeah, my bad. I misunderstood which way you wanted to go. So
okay, so then we could say that we look that way first, and then we'll say, okay, now go look that way, please.
Okay.
So we know what's that way. That way's a waterfall and a hole. Why there's a hole coming from where the current's coming from? I don't know.
So
Check away for the tentacle. That's all we're saying.
downstream, I can't find a good visual aid for this one, so I'm gonna need you to just like lend me your imagination.
You have all of my imagination. Go
Let
for
me
it.
find my imagination hat first. Okay, here we go.
Alrighty. Man, I was really hoping for a good visual aid for this.
I think I found it. Just kidding. I didn't find it.
Tarask.jpg. Oh, you ain't.
Yoink.
Alright.
He eateth and he yoinketh away.
So, Kiri, you fly for, wow, I'm rolling surprisingly average on these conglomerate rolls. You fly for about a half hour in the direction downstream, and you can tell now, like, you think the cave might be longer in this direction than it is in, like, the across the current direction.
It
Like,
was here so since I've flown for longer.
yeah, so, like, you sort of, like, there's some roughly ovular shape, and, like, that is the direction you guys emerged into it from.
Okay.
This arrow that I've drawn inside this circle. With the current, I'll draw a wavier line for the current, going this way.
Question. Is the top of
Yes.
this oval, towards where the arrow is pointing, the arrow that we came from, a fog of war, or do we know that it is actually ovular?
You have, like, based off, like, the curvature and stuff of the walls you've encountered, you can kind of just, like, tell that, like, there's, and it's not, like, exactly ovular, but you can tell because you saw at, like, the emergence of the water up here on this western end where, like, there was the frothing water and such. You saw that the wall did come to a point, like, at this, and the rest of the lake kind of emerged from, like,
Gotcha.
around it, or, like, out that way, like, branches out from that one point.
Okay.
So you fly for, like, roughly a half hour. Like, you start to get to the point where you're, like, almost concerned about how long you've been flying. There is a gigantic whirlpool resting at the end of this lake, with the water just, like, as you keep approaching, the water is, like, deafeningly loud as you hear just, like, this, like, cacophony of, like, thrashing water and, like, just this loud, overwhelming noise of
Yo, what did I say? What did I say? What was at the end of the current? Either a whirlpool or waterfall. Like,
DnD trope.exe. So there is some kind of sinkhole. Roll me a perception check, please.
Jesus Christ, please, Kiri.
All of us?
Kiri's the one with the bird's eye view, but
Kick.
All of us?
No,
Oh.
you're a half hour yonder.
I'll stop holding my breath. Right. She's exploring. Sorry. Zoned out.
What's it called?
Oh, I thought she was still telling us. I'm very happy to be back at my rock. Thank you.
There's a faint glow coming from the bottom of the whirlpool. Not any particular color. You can just tell that, like, it is something emitting light that isn't your torch. And it's, like, very faint, but it is there. Like a soft, like, white light kind of just glowing.
How big is this whirlpool? Is this whirlpool, like, sizable enough to, like, swallow
About
the
as
people?
big as a football field.
Damn.
Christ.
Okay.
It's a big hole.
Can I fly over the whirlpool?
And it took you about a half hour to fly here, also.
Can I fly over the whirlpool and see if I can see anything down?
Surely.
Oh my god, okay. Sorry, don't mind me. I got the visual of that and I kind of shit myself.
Roll me another perception check.
Dope.
tough to really
Can
see.
Anzu
There's like a lot of
perception
like
fucking check?
foaming and stuff. Yeah, I mean, he can. He might not be able to convey what he sees to you, but he definitely could.
Well, he'll either panic or he'll be like, dope, land.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He'll either lose his shit or kind of just look at it with his head cocked.
He's better than I am at this, so
Yeah, he
clearly.
seems intrigued by the fact that it's like emitting some kind of light, but he doesn't really seem too keen on getting closer to it, without your lead at least.
Okay. Is there anything else I can do to get a better look at it, or is this kind of like the best I can do at the moment?
You can fly closer to it. Like, closer towards the surface of the water.
I'll get a little closer.
And she was never heard from again.
If Anzu seems like he
We're gonna be
panics when I'm
hanging
getting
out on these
closer, I will
stalagmites
back
for
out.
a while if that happens.
Yeah, if Anzu seems at any point that he's panicking that I'm getting closer to the water, I'll back out.
So if you were 80 feet in the air over this thing, how much closer to it would you get?
Halfway. I would
One at a
try. Slowly.
I can hear Sean clenching.
You can hear his butthole pucker.
So roll me one more perception check for the pair of you.
Puckering intensifies. Wait, for us?
No.
No, for her and Anzu. Okay, you said pair. And I
Shut up!
That's
I got
not
a nat 20.
Yo.
40 feet did it.
I will shut up for that.
Fuck, I had this picture. Where did it fucking go? I'm angry out of 10 right now. Give me just a sec.
Take your time. Sean probably needs a time to regroup anyway.
No, my blood pressure is just increasing. Don't mind me.
I'm mad! God damn it! This was perfect! Ah! Fuck! I'm sorry, don't DM rage. Alright, I found half of it. Well, I found all of it, but it's half of something else. So, you get particularly close, like, you get halfway down, and as your lights kind of starts to dance, like, on the surface of the waves, and you see now that the whirlpool descends another, like, maybe like 80 feet or so. Like, this thing is really deep. It's taller than most buildings. Your light catches the water in a certain way where you see the thing on the right of this photo staring back at you, and it has a faint, like, glowing light, like, on its forehead, almost as if it's like some kind of gem.
It's a fucking
it's this-
angelfish, and it's a big one, and we gotta go.
Well, it's this
Anglerfish.
big.
Anglerfish.
It's the thing on the right. So I don't know if it's an anglerfish.
Well, no, that thing on the right
Roll me-
looks like a crocodile.
Roll me a nature check.
But what you're describing is an anglerfish.
Right.
Yeah, no. So if you didn't know anything else other than what Kiri was looking at in this split second, you
Right,
would
it's
think
a scaly,
it's
mean lizardy thing with 3 eyes.
it is large. Not size-wise, like description-wise. Description-wise, it is at least huge in terms of like its size category. If you didn't know any better, you'd say it's some kind of dragon with a gem in its forehead that glows. Roll me a perception check for Anzu, please. He kind of starts like freaking out, not like terribly, and this thing, in the split second that you see it, like, and we're freeze frame right now because I don't want you to think that time is just passing and I'm subjecting you to sit in front of this thing as like a beacon of light. So in the moment you see this thing, you can't tell if he sees it or not, but he starts getting uneasy.
Okay. Dope.
I'm about to unfreeze frame.
We're leaving.
We're leaving? Okay.
We're leaving. We're hauling us back. And
Flying as fast as you can.
basically
Dashing and such. Alright. Make a few rolls. Don't fret. Low is actually a good thing on that one.
I try not to pay attention to your random rolls.
I feel like if I didn't know what I was rolling for, I would not be able to figure out what the fuck I'm doing half the time. Like, from an outsider's perspective, if John was rolling this shit in front of me, I'd be like, what are you rolling? But, okay.
that's how it feels.
So, you see the dot of Kiri, like, emerging on the horizon, and you can tell at the pace... Don't you give me this shit, John! Making your own rules.
That's impressive.
Huh.
No, that last one's impressive.
You
There,
can
guess
tell
what I'm
at the
thinking.
pace Kiri's light is moving that she is like, she's not exploring, she's like fleeing something. You felt a couple small fish like brush up against you again this time, and you've heard one splash of water like further off somewhere in the cave, but you've had a largely peaceful stay here.
Put out the light. Put out the light. Throw the torch down.
I can't
It's
see
probably
without the
following
light.
the light. Follow my voice. Fly in this direction.
Well, it's as she
Following
starts
the light.
making it, as she starts making it back to you. The torch had an hour left when she was last here. She flew for a half hour in one direction, so it's like as she's getting back to you, the thing's gonna sputter out and die, basically. You see nothing like following her, and nothing seems out of the ordinary. You can't hear anything. There's no change in the surface of the water or anything to indicate that something is different.
Okay. Still, the fact that she's running away from something, my initial reaction is, this is a dark place. As soon as a source of light is found, if something's curious enough, it's going to continue to follow that light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when I saw her, when you said you saw her fleeing something, my initial reaction was, put out the light.
Mm-hmm. Are you feeling cheeky enough to literally yell it out to her?
I have a feeling that that sound is going to echo through here.
I would imagine
it'd
so.
be a modest tone, not a thaumaturgy yell.
Scurry! So, here you hear Darrow like faintly, like from the distance you're at, like you can hear Darrow saying something to you, but you can't really hear what it is. And it's as you get like another 5 seconds closer, you hear you saying, "Put out the light."
How far am I from the party?
Maybe another minute of flying.
Okay. I would hold on to Anzu's foot, drop the torch in the water, and let him pull me forward back to the party.
Okay,
Or,
so
like,
he's
lead me
going to be
back.
your eyes right now?
Yes.
Okay. So you see, for a second, you're not sure if she heard what you're saying, and then you see the light just drop, and Kiri kind of vanishes from your view as the torch just, like, hits the surface of the water and sputters out, and everything goes dark again. And it's not for You wait the better part of a minute until you hear the thud, thud, thud of like wings coming through the air towards you.
Okay. In that time, as the light is gone, and us with the dark vision can adjust to the total pitch blackness, is there any bioluminescence or natural sources of lights that kind of come through?
Roll me perception checks.
Okay.
AKA, is the dragon swimming towards us?
Well, I'm just curious.
It's dark. I can't see shit.
That was a completely legitimate question. There have been other
You said
bioluminescence.
perception, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to
Is
jinx it. I
black
failed.
down here. Black coffee colored over with a Sharpie inside a can of black paint wrapped in Vanta black wrapping paper.
Ah, yes, he said it. I was gonna say it if you didn't.
Bliggity black, 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 and then black. Like black, dark down here.
Okay.
That's why
cool.
I can't see shit.
I'm very confident in that fact that it's very black.
You think to yourself, I wish I could buy clothes in this color.
Can I just capture this color?
The artistic sense comes out.
Like this is even blacker than the inside of my eyelids. Oh.
So, yo, wait. I'm sorry, I have to break DM character for a minute. Are like creatures with dark vision, like people like Skulker and Darrow, when they close their eyes to go to sleep, are they not as relaxed by that as creatures without dark vision?
Well, dark vision just means that your pupils can pick up less light. Like if you're in absolute blackness, you still can't see shit. Dark vision just means that low light is normal light for you.
Oh, that's right, I forgot this song. I don't know if anyone saw in the DJ chat, I tried playing the ambiance again, and somehow I got Dancing Queen.
Interesting.
So I typed press play and then plus play again, and then the link. So I think that has something to
Very
do with
interesting.
it.
Technically, I'd imagine dark vision just means a higher density of rods, because rods are literally responsible for the light level vision.
Mm-hmm. And cones are color, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
and,
it just
the whole beautiful
Right, so from a biological
refractive
standpoint, you'd have more
lens.
rods. From a practical standpoint, lower light seems brighter.
Okay.
So
forgive
absolute
me.
blackness is absolute fucking blackness.
Okay.
You don't just magically see light that's not there. You just have the ability to pick up on lower light levels than normal people.
Okay.
I guess to answer your original question, it probably is less relaxing if there's enough light out to shine through eyelids.
Right.
Because then you're just staring at the back of your eyelids.
Yeah, and they're
right. It's like when you try to
for other
sleep
people.
on a beach, instead of it being black, it's like red.
Yeah, it's more likely to be that.
Do you think that like dark vision people have the tapetum lucidum, which is basically like the iridescent layer that like shines at night?
Like cats?
Yeah.
Like the eye shine?
Third eyelid?
No, it's not a third eyelid.
No. Like cats, if you shine a light at them at night, it looks like they have a mirror in their eyelid, and that's because the light that goes into their eye, rather than reflecting back out, reflects back into the eye off of that reflection, so it gets trapped inside the eye.
Interesting.
They have a literal layer in their eye that's like something that we don't have, called the tapetum lucidum.
That could be one way of having dark vision. Definitely, I wouldn't say that'd be all
We
dark
need
vision.
Wizards to publish a supplement on this. So I'm fucking curious.
The biology of creatures.
Forgive me. I'm sorry for derailing my own game. So you hear the thudding of wings as you realize like Kiri is over you now. Also, Kiri, if you had to put a color on the scales of the dragon you saw, it would be green.
Green? Okay.
If you had to.
If I had
Greenish.
to.
Yeah.
Well,
Tough to say.
I would basically be in general panic mode at this point because, first of all, it's claustrophobic. We're in a cave. We're under. I'm a bird. There's water, and then there's cave, and it's not okay. And and then there's a motherfucking whirlpool over there, Yawnsville, and it's death. And then there's other things in the other direction that's death, and I'm explaining them that there's a big shiny something, big green light, bottom whirlpool, very deep, death.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's a whirlpool, and there's a big meanie inside of it that looked like a dragon, and it might have been green, and we shouldn't go near that. And the other option is a waterfall with a hole underneath it. I choose the not dragon.
We haven't seen the, like, parallel wall yet. That's, like, our third and only option other than the two. I don't know how much.
If we do go check that out, I would like to not continue holding on to this stalagmite, and you to just kind of bring us over in that direction.
At that point, we're in the middle, so I might just bring you on with, and
then
we'll make a decision from there.
Yeah, so, also, how did you find us? Good job putting out the light. I thought I was going to have to do some echolocation shit to be like, roll my voice.
Onto with dark vision, I don't.
Oh, word. Can you use him as your guide
alcoholic breath
a little bit? And granted, it's incredibly terrifying being in absolute blackness, but I'd like to put some distance between us and whatever
I love
is large
it.
and
Cave,
scary.
water, pure darkness. Love it. Let's do it. It's the best place to be as a bird.
If anything followed you from what you found, it probably lost. It's going to lose interest if it doesn't see that source of light again for a little bit.
Oh no, I'm aware. I just hate it anyway. I would do just that. I would drop a rope to them and we would head over to what would be the quote-unquote north side of the cave. DM.
Right. So, to be 100% perfectly clear, that was whirlpool. That was waterfall.
Yes.
This is where we came from.
See.
We want to go that way.
Yes.
Sounds good. You feel a slightly larger fish, Skulker, brush up against your knee, and kind of like it almost lingers for a second, but like just kind of fades away again.
It's tasting you.
Or it was a tentacle giving him a thigh rub.
I don't know how to respond to being hit on by aquatic creatures. This is new territory to me. I'm gonna pretend it didn't happen.
You want a little, like, Lovecraftian loving.
God, no. Please, no.
You do.
Please, no Japan. No Japan.
You don't want the tentacle?
I don't want the Japan.
In Underdark, Japan, come to you! Oh wait, that's Russia. Shit.
So,
we are having a great time exploring this cave here, Connor. Come on, let's keep the train going.
Birds feeling claustrophobic, but we're alive and that's good.
Oh, I'm being sarcastic.
So, our party ventures into the black. Kiri is literally like blind, basically holding on to Anzu as he kind of gets the point that he's leading her through the darkness, but he doesn't really seem too calm about it.
I don't blame him.
You fly
we can go for like 15 minutes and then light up another torch. I just wanted a bit of time and distance between us and where we were.
You fly for about 5 minutes, and Darrow,
Me.
I need you to make me a strength check.
Yeah,
Oh my
I knew
god,
it
I
was
just
going
got
to be
attacked
something
myself.
like that.
IRL.
Check, correct?
Yeah.
What the F did I just get attacked by?
Nice. So, you feel something like muscular and powerful, kind of like grasp out at your foot, but just the reflex you kick out with, like,
It's not me.
even just the reaction of your shock is strong enough to kind of break it off at you. And it's at this moment that you hear like a couple of like splashes in the water around you, and like looking around you see some disturbances. Everyone else hears this also. Do you say like to the rest of the
Carrie,
party,
time to light up that torch. We have a tentacle boy.
I would reach for said torch.
Tentacle boy looking to be tentacle man. Not today, buddy.
Oh, so many innuendos are based on that statement. Oh my god.
I think that's what he meant.
I know. And that's why I love it.
Kiri, you're gonna have to let go of Anzu to light this torch.
I would just like give him a little tug that to like let him know that we're stopping.
Alright. Darrow and Skulker. Roll me strength saving throws, please.
Ew. Ew.
Ew, indeed.
So this thing that's like lashing out at you, like, doesn't seem to seems to have located you and doesn't seem to have liked the fact that its grip was broken. Darrow, you can tell that like this thing isn't like these tentacles aren't the largest, most muscular. Like they're not nearly anywhere as thick as the constrictor snake. Like they might be about as like a little bit thinner than your forearm maybe. But you feel like as soon as you break the one that lashes out at you, another one wraps it around you and like tries pulling you down, but you manage to sort of just like rip your leg out. And as you're pulling your leg out from this, and you see like the light of the torch start to like blossom out over the surface of the water, you hear like as you see like Skulker's hand like descend below the water, and you see he's kind of like thrashing about as what's it called? Something pulls him in, and his snake balloon is just like bobbing on the surface where he was. Skulker,
fuck.
you are being dragged down by some sort of tentacle-y thing. What is your first reaction, other than fuck?
My first thought is, this is definitely not how I thought I might die. My second reaction is yeah, just knee-jerk, like, I'm gonna try casting this shit. It didn't click. Why didn't it click? Click that shit. It's not clicking. I can't click sleep. Cast sleep. What the fuck is wrong now?
Your character sheet is probably over the box that makes you select the level that it's at.
It is.
How I am.
Even though I don't have anything above slot level 1, like what the fuck?
Yeah, it makes you do that every time.
So you feel the magic leave your body, but this thing does not loosen its grip as your what's it called? It does not loosen its grip as you're dragged down maybe another like 15 feet deeper as you're casting this spell.
How far am I dragged down? I don't know how much rope we put in between of it. But like
Did you let go of the
You
rope,
were like
Skulker?
I probably would have dragged us all down if I hadn't let go of the rope.
Did you let go of the rope?
Depends how much slack it had. No, I probably didn't let go of the rope in some regard.
Well, that's a good thing then. If you actually held on to the rope, then that's a good thing. We have a line going directly to where you are.
Cool.
So
I have Warcaster, so yes, I don't have to let go of it to cast things.
Cool.
Okay.
I was more so
Siri.
saying, like, as soon as you got snap dragged under the water, if your reaction would be hold on for dear life or let go.
Oh yeah, no. Hold on for dear life.
Kiri,
Cool.
I need you to roll me a strength saving throw.
I'm gonna get
I'll
attacked
cast
by
another
stuff.
spell on my next turn.
Strength saving throw, strength saving throw.
Oh wait.
So you hear like the commotion go on around you, and like before you can even really mentally process like what's going on, and Skulker like vanishes like beneath the waves, and like you as you feel yourself getting jerked back, you just let loose like as a like whoop of your wings and kind of like counteract like the force pulling him down. Darrow, you feel that like nothing else is lashed out at you. These tentacles weren't thin, but now you can see underneath the surface of the water, especially now that the torchlight is kind of breaching into it a little bit. There are more tentacles going after Skulker now. Now that it actually has him in its grasp, it's putting more.
So he's still under the water.
Yes. So
Following
Skulker,
the line of the rope, can I see how deep under the water he's gone?
he is about 15 feet under the water at the moment.
Okay.
Skulker, you feel yourself getting pulled down, and you feel like a jerk on the rope in the upward direction, and you realize that Kiri is fighting whatever this thing is pulling you. Just for flavor, so you know where you're at. Kiri, you are now counteracting the force of this pull going down. Skulker casts sleep. Darrow, what would you like to do?
I realize guidance is a touch spell. I can't touch Kiri, nor can I touch Skulker.
I got attacked by a wasp while we were doing this. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Oh?
Bless. Saving throws. Both of you get bless. For the next minute, y'all have a D4 added to your saving throws and attack rolls.
Yep.
So you feel this vaguely divine, electric almost sensation kind of start to like pull your way through this body. And between the pull of the rope and this sensation, Skulker, you're now aware that both of your companions are not leaving you to die here. Darrow's doing something. You can feel Kiri's wings like beating up against the beating like upwards. So this next save won't be at disadvantage, but I can tell you the DC will be higher now that there's more than one tentacle grabbing onto you. So please, Skulker, roll me another strength saving throw plus a D4.
Okay. Let's roll the D4 first.
Sure.
Okay. Nah. Yoink.
So Kiri, as you're beating your wings, you start like you feel that like you've kept the whole pace up this time, but you can feel yourself slowly start to being lowered like towards the court.
Are there any stalagmites in the area near where this is all happening?
There's one about 20 feet away from you. You could.
How much rope is still above water?
Above water? Let's see.
He was 15 feet under before, and we had a 50-foot rope.
So, yeah, there's about 30 feet of water between...
Okay, I'm going to start kicking over to that nearest stalagmite that's poking up from the water's edge and say, Gary, bring the rope over towards that stalagmite. We're going to wrap it around it and both pull on it.
I would do my best to pull in that direction.
Okay. So,
maybe even Anzu could help me grab like
as a type of a pulley type thing, and we can use it as a leverage point and get more force to pull him out of the water.
Can I see the creature these tentacles are attached to?
Not yet. You can see that these tentacles are coming out of the depths, but it's now that you're actually in the water, you get an appreciation for like how deep this lake must be.
Mm-hmm. And it's clear water. Like there's not a whole lot of particulate or muck or.
So, what happens when I cast Firebolt underwater? Like,
the water boils.
In regards to no, at my hand. Like, of course it dissipates, but does it at least form initially? Like,
what type of damage does it do?
It's fire damage.
It's fire damage. Firebolt.
Oh.
But point being, like, is it just a mild sauna, or is it actually like a little bit of a searing burn? Like if I were to apply it as if it were a touch spell.
It's a good fucking question.
Like firing guns into the water, like yeah, they dissipate within inches, but what about that initial point?
Well, the reason
you're asking, like, can you shock burn the tentacle that's grabbing?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Then I'm spamming that shit until I can see it.
So let's get back to the
now.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Let's get back. Yeah, there's 2 tentacles on you now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna spam whichever one I can reach with my hand at all.
Let's get back because let's do the Darrow-Kiri side of it first. So
let's do the side that will actually save me. Yes.
We're doing above water team, then below water, and then above and below. So, Darrow, I need you to roll me a strength check.
Cool.
But you can add Kiri's modifier to this check since, what's it called? She's in the air flying and you're swimming through the water. It's both of you working together on this. So whatever it is, you can add a +2 and then, your own strength check.
So it's +4 because I'm a 2.
Yeah.
Better than if I didn't have it.
So you can't really make any progress towards the stalactite that you're trying to get to.
Okay.
We can still on a separate piece of rope, though. Well, I mean, like, not... So, like... It would be, like, one rope, and I would be holding onto the middle of it, and then... Darrow's on one end.
Actually, wait, you're right. You're the fulcrum. I should have had you roll it. I'm sorry. Roll it for me, please.
So what am I rolling? Strength plus...
strength plus 2.
4. Yeah, so you rolled your strength. Click your strength button and add 2 to it. It's the same.
Basically.
Yep. The good ice gods are not liking our shit tonight.
Well, like, don't matter. Okay. You fuck up.
Earlier, we were doing good things.
What are you doing, child?
What can I do? So... 20 feet away. There's 30 feet of line off the top. Kiri's in.
Why do you want my water?
It's like 20 foot
All right. Back to below the water. Skulker. You feel now that, like, you're starting to get to that point where, like, you can feel your heartbeat pounding more intensely, not from adrenaline, but from oxygen deprivation. You wrap your hand around one of these tentacles grabbing you, and you cast Firebolt, and you see, like, a brief flash of, like, illumination from under your palm as this thing, like, whips off and, like, reels, like, off further into the water. I need you to make me another strength saving throw, please, with one tentacle on you.
Add a d4.
Bollocks. Can I still add a d4 even though I already spent it?
You know, it's not a one-time use, it's for a whole minute.
Mm-hmm. Darrow's still concentrating on it.
Yes.
All right. So, you managed to... You manage to break free from this one remaining tentacle, almost as if, like, you catch the thing by surprise, and you start, like, breaking your way towards the surface of the water. Darrow and Kiri, you feel the sudden, like, lack of, like, downward force.
You think I'm dead.
And you're not
So
initially
either
sure.
he lets go of the rope, or you're coming back towards us.
Yeah, you can't be sure in this, like, moment if he got let go of the rope or if he broke free of the creature. How do you react?
Pull?
My goal was to go towards that stalagmite, and suddenly there's a lack of pressure. I'm probably going to continue paddling towards that stalagmite.
Yeah, I'm pulling.
Okay. All right. And the end of the rope comes up empty. No, I'm just kidding.
Because, like, I mean, we would still feel whether there's something attached to it or if it's just like
right.
pure rope.
If you and I are able to move faster than Skulker, then it will go taut again. But likelihood of that happening, I don't know.
Okay. So, your dark vision now, like, as you see, like, the light reflecting off of Skulker's face, as you see he's got this, like, determined-ass look with his eyes wide, and he's, like, great wide strokes, like, making his way back towards the surface with rope in hand still. Arrow, you see him, like, breaking up towards the surface, so you're now aware that he's on the other end of the rope.
Word.
Do you call up to Kiri?
He's alive! He's coming back up.
All right.
Good things are happening.
What are we doing? We gotta get out of here or we gotta get a plan? Because I don't think that thing's gonna leave us.
Well, you could tie the rope around the top of that stalagmite, and that way we have a solid point to hold on to so that we're not just treading water. But you said it's not going to leave us alone. We should probably, I don't know, keep running? Is there any way we can move faster?
So you want me to tie a rope to the stalactite, but you want it to keep moving?
Those are two different ideas.
Gotcha.
You're correct.
All right. So, are we going with stalactite or haul ass? Or stalagmite or haul
Am I
ass?
above water?
Yes.
You're about to be.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep booking it.
All right.
Like, if you all are going with a plan, you have to yell at me. Like, hold up, plan. And I'll be like, no, maybe.
So you have abandoned I guess your ball is gone at this point, because
His ball is, like,
cast
drifted
a spell. Yeah, you cast a spell with one hand, with hold on to the rope with the other, so your ball's gone.
But I still have a ball, so, like, you could have mine.
True. Well, he's paddling like Michael Phelps towards whatever direction it was that we were going.
Fair.
My assumption.
I transform for movement speed.
Woof.
And ferocity.
I thought it said you could turn on shit as a bonus action. Like, what? The IFT kind of all blended together.
It really does. You can shit as a bonus action.
Sweet, I never knew I could have this power.
I mean, Shauna's already been doing that the entire time.
Action title, bonus action shit. Oh god.
I mean, if Skulker is still swimming, then I'm pulling towards whatever direction we were going. Hopefully there's something there.
Cool.
And if
So
we see nothing there, then I'm gonna look for the closest stalactite to anchor us to.
Yep. Well, Might's coming out of the Might is coming out of the ocean. Mites come from the floor, tights come from the ceiling. So we tie it to a Mite.
Sure. I ain't no geologist.
The only reason I know that is because of D&D.
I haven't dealt
The way
with
I
it.
remember it is you might trip on the stalagmite, and stalactites hang tight.
Gotcha.
Whenever I think of it, I just picture Stephen Colbert's face going tights, mites, and pointing either up or down, and that works for me. Because he did a one shot with Matt Mercer, and Matt said stalactites coming from the earth a couple times, and he said, "I'm sorry, tights, mites, you're doing it wrong." He's like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry."
So Skulker like breaks the surface of the water and takes like a massive breath, and whatever that thing was, like you swim and like you start tying off the rope, and doesn't seem like it takes too kindly to dealing with fire underwater because
because
why would it? But you remain unbothered. Like the being singed by fire, presumably this thing has lived its entire life underwater, did not enjoy that and doesn't want another taste.
Yeah, that
it is
clearly
back the fuck
not
off.
worth it. Cool.
So after a minute or so of like kind of just like looking around waiting, like, are we fucked? And then like you're not fucked.
Okay. So keep moving still, please.
Continuing
Carrie,
in the northern direction.
Please help. Oh, Skulker, would you like a bubble? Carrie has a backup. Carrie, would you mind offering your bubble? Skulker, do you want a bubble?
I already offered the bubble, theoretically.
Okay.
I don't want a bubble.
Okay.
It was more like an anti-stubbornness roll, and I failed.
I'm just gonna
the bubble
continue.
makes me feel comfortable. I like the bubble.
I'm gonna continue going north.
The
Pulling
bubble
to that
was
wall.
no help in my comfortability.
I understand. You got dragged under the water. That's
Your comfortability is misplaced.
Ow. I hit a stalagmite.
Alright. So, you swim for another 20 minutes, and you finally come to, like, the wall, like the opposite side of the cave. And a couple hundred feet couple hundred feet east, you see what appears to be a hole in the wall with, like, a small shoreline.
I'm beelining for that bitch.
You make your way over to it, and for the first time in a few hours, probably about like 2.5 hours, you feel solid ground underneath your feet as you clamber onto the shore.
I immediately check for ropers.
I stomp the ground to make sure it's ground.
I hit a couple of the stalagmites that are within range, and then check and see if any of the ones around.
I don't care. It's something I can stand on.
None of them move.
Okay. Still don't trust it. Okay, Skulker, how are you doing on health? Did you take any damage from that ordeal? Physically, mentally? I don't want to hear it.
Physically, fine.
If you don't want to hear it?
Cool.
Emotionally,
cool.
I'm not talking about it.
Cool. That's exactly how I like it.
The tentacles stayed on the outside. That's all I'll say.
Good. 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 Okay.
So we're chilling on like actual ground now, right? Like not even half water ground, like just out of the water completely.
Yes.
All right, I'm bringing Lulu back, and I'm going in my corner,
He wants.
and I'll be there for 5 minutes.
Okay. Well.
He's having his bunny minute. He needs to stop for a Kit Kat.
That's fine. Do we want to like?
So what are our surroundings like? We have solid ground. That's awesome. What else? What are the surroundings like?
Let's see. And do we want to put out a fire and dry stuff?
The lake behind you. Also, I need to make a clarification on the directions. So I was using east and west relative to the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'd like to clarify. This would actually be north. So you like approach the wall from heading north from south.
Yes.
West this way, the dragon would be east.
Yes.
Etc.
Yes.
I'm not a ranger. I'm not going to remember this. Go on.
So, north.
This has been clear. Yes. The hypothetical north and the hypothetical east.
Well, is Connor giving us an actual clarification because Kiri's a ranger, or is this like the hypothetical?
Yes. No, this is an actual clarification because it's going to become relevant now.
Okay, so a northeast, a southwest. That compass is correct.
The tunnel... The tunnel branching off from this shoreline has an upward trajectory, and it continues to head north. So it will bring you towards the surface and also closer to Croydon.
So good things. All good things.
Yeah. Bueno things.
I'm a fan. Let's go.
Muy delicioso.
Awful Spanish, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I took Italian, not Spanish. I don't speak either.
I took Latin.
Cool.
Second biggest mistake.
Dead language.
I still think Latin is a cool language. I took
it's
French,
a cool language.
Italian.
You get lots of interesting words from it. Just no country speaks it anymore.
Yeah, but a lot of countries have a basis in it.
Yeah, it's a base language of a lot of countries, so probably some benefit from actually having it. Makes other languages easier. If you didn't learn any other languages after that, then well. Anyway, tunnel life.
I'm about that tunnel life.
Yep, speaking of tunnel life, Anzu should probably be back at full health, shouldn't he?
I cannot control his health.
I cannot control his life.
He's his own man's.
You can?
You should be able to double click on Anzu and it would...
Can I?
Or if you single click on him, then
on
it comes up, and then there's a green circle, and you edit the number in the green circle.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Word. Okay. Hey, Skulker. Good to get going. Do you wanna dry off first, or keep moving?
I'll dry off on the way.
I agree.
Is there like a light firebolt I can cast to like warm myself, or is it just like light my shit on fire risk?
Does the spell Firebolt say it lights clothes on fire?
That's a good question. Actually, I believe it does. No, I think it...
I know most spells will say objects that aren't being worn or carried.
Oh. Interesting.
Only because I know, like, things being set on fire is like a very rare status effect in D&D.
It is that. Okay. Yeah. So I'd probably still risk self-damage.
Yes, you would.
Worth. No.
Are you guys looking to, like, dry your clothes out?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm totally okay being uncomfortable.
Darrow in his soaking chainmail, chainmail or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm good.
My new
Yeah,
shoes that are now ruined again.
I'll probably
But at
take
least
off
they're not
particular
gone.
articles and like wring them out. But
I have very minimum, like, leather.
I'm just
so.
standing there soaking wet, and they're like, "Are you gonna do anything about this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Alright, let's continue down this tunnel since y'all don't want to take a break.
Please.
let's not. Let's just have banter back and forth until the session ends.
Okay.
That sounds like a great idea. What do you want to have for lunch?
I have been debating
Snake
this
meat or
entire
rations?
time, debating whether I want to get like some cookies and just munch on them because I'm feeling munchy.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Do I
so
want
tunnel.
do I want the biscuit ones with the orange jello and covered in chocolate, or do I want the chocolate waffle ones?
Chocolate waffle sounds pretty good.
Chocolate waffle it is. Alright. I'm gonna go get that cookie then. Or you decide what you want to do with that tunnel. Cookie.
I would like to walk down it.
Down it, up it, inside it, whichever way it'll take me. This tunnel is my world.
Tunnel is my salvation.
You all travel for the better part of the rest of the day. Close to 6 hours, probably more like 5. It's been fairly uneventful. You come across a couple shallow, like a couple like shallow, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like pools of water here and there.
Puddles.
A couple cross tunnels. Nothing really that like screams like danger. Nothing assaults you. The further you're up in the tunnel you get, you start to see the reemergence of like fungi and insects and small lizards and that type of thing. Not really much noise other than like the sound of your boots on the stone. There are a couple cross tunnels coming through, but this one tunnel seems to have this continuous upward trajectory that's promising. I don't want to railroad you guys into saying you're sticking on it, but it is the most promising
Right. If it's
choice.
going up, we're following it.
Okay. So,
Christ almighty.
after 5 hours,
Someone just had a car accident outside my window. That's fun.
ooh,
Ooh.
Ask them to make survival checks.
Open my window and yell at them. Roll a d20 and add survival. You okay? I rolled a 2. Oh fuck! I'm calling the paramedics.
it's at this point that you feel a breeze, like a faint draft of fresh air, and the cool, moving air is like a very stark contrast to the damp, stagnant air of the Underdark, and it's a promising sign for what's to come. You finally start to see light as you continue walking, and you breach the surface of the world surrounded by trees
Oh, thank
in a
God.
small cave. Well, like outside of the cave, I should say, are just trees. You see there's a small trickle of water running down the tunnel from whence you came, but you are in some kind of forest.
Okay.
Presumably, a little map. Presumably this forest. It appears we overshot our destination a little bit.
That's fine.
Happens.
Okay.
Uh,
So you said we saw light. So was it sunlight or starlight?
It is sunlight.
Okay.
However, it is sunset.
Okay.
Am I,
That's totally
Skulker, familiar with this forest at all? Hi, I'm Skulker.
Hi, Skulker.
No, this is not Alcoholics Anonymous.
Enough to know when you're in it. So you know there aren't many forests in Ascalon. There's Lenvarwooden to the east, which is the home of the Wood Elves and the Gnomes. And there is the Whispering Glade, they call it, which is an odd name because it's really not too watery. But there's this, like, you recognize it immediately. There's this faint mist that kind of clings to the ground. And even in the sunlight, you can see everything along the ground has this kind of like faint, wispy, white mist sort of just like trailing across it lazily.
Great, so I can't dry my clothes out here either. Cool. Just kidding.
You also recognize you're not in Lenvarwooden because those trees are like massive, like sequoia status. Like these you could climb to the top of with a decent like effort. With a respectable effort, I should say.
Okay.
They're not like 250-foot tall trees.
Camp? How does camp sound? Does camp sound good?
Camp sounds like a good idea.
How dense
I
are
don't
these
know how to
trees?
go about this, but I will voice my concern of members of the syndicate awaiting us to come out from the catacombs, and if they know about this exit, they might be nearby. I don't know what to do about it, but I'd like to voice a concern.
We could move a little bit more.
Right. Sneakily, trying to leave limited tracks.
So Kiri and Anzu should probably be flying.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
DM, can Skulker pull like some Spider-Man shit with the grappling hook on the trees?
I mean, like, climbing up one? Yeah. Swinging tree to tree?
Yeah.
Probably not.
You
It
are
is
not a
grappling
monk.
after all.
What?
If you were a monk, it might be different. You're not.
but
I mean, the grappling hook is like you tether it to something and then use it to climb.
Yeah, it's not an instant grab. It's not a Batman grappling hook.
Yeah.
Okay. But what if it were?
Right. It's a hook type thing at the end of a rope.
Yeah. Then as far as keeping our tracks to a minimum, my first thought is just to stay near larger trees and walk on their roots as much as possible. Because the roots are probably the most solid ground that leaves the least sign of being disturbed.
True. Yeah, that might work. Just try not to step on sticks and walk through shrubbery and dry leaves and long grasses, all that stuff.
No lighting things on fire.
Mm.
Yeah. The usual rules. I know.
So.
And I guess allowing or asking Kiri to try to find someplace somewhat nearby to camp.
Kiri, roll me a survival check, please.
Back on land, bitches.
There's the rolls. There's
Back
a
on
sky
land.
over your head.
Clairvoyance.
So Kiri finds you guys like a very nice clearing. It's slightly elevated. You see the mist isn't as thick along the ground here. Not that it's too thick to begin with, but it's just like less pronounced on this like slight hill that you're on. It also has a tree on it that like with like a large canopy of branches that like sort of like create like an almost umbrella over you. Seems like a good place to camp for the night.
Cool. I'd like to forage for some sticks and some larger branches to use as firewood, and also to make some kind of a drying rack type deal.
We have rope
to hang near the.
I was thinking lay a bunch
fire.
out, lay some out on the perimeter for if something steps on them.
You know, we could both be collecting sticks, and when I start building a fire, you lay them in a circle. I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm laying a trap. A noise trap.
Cool. The man looks at a stick, thinks two different things.
Yeah. No, so you manage to collect some fire. You make some. What's it called? You make a small fire for yourself.
Don't want to make a big one. Just a little one. Don't want it to be
just a small one.
Too far.
Cook some snake meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play with my snake balloon.
It was poison.
So it hasn't retained its Lulu
likes snake meat a lot.
Nom nom.
That is now canon. I have to add it to the character sheet.
It's a bunny with a horn, lols, like snake meat.
The irony. She likes the meat of her main predator.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's gonna start hunting snakes now. Anyway, I'm getting into meme territory. Connor, please save me.
So you're all sitting around the fire for about 20 minutes or so. You got the snake meat cooking. It has an interesting smell, like kind of alluring, but also kind of like, what the fuck? Like,
Every once in a while you'll catch a whiff like, oh, it's gonna smell good, and then the next one's like,
All right. And I need everyone to roll me perception checks, please.
2.
Lulu, what the fuck? Snake meat must be real distractingly good.
Anzu though.
So you're all kind of out of it. You had a pretty rough go of it.
An 18 is out of it, guys.
Skulker.
You heard it here.
You hear like a soft rustle in the brush that almost sounds like it could be like the wind. But you see that Anzu, like, sort of like tip to tail, like straightens out and is like very distinctly looking at something. And you see.
I dropped my weapon.
Depending on what it is.
You unsheath your blade to look, and you're looking into the brush, and you see. Is it really over 2,000 characters? Are you fucking kidding me? What are these fucking links?
Why can't you just post it in Roll20 like you've been doing it?
I think Roll20 only lets you upload images if you're
like I have to download it to my computer and then put it into my Roll20 library and
Got it.
It's a pain in the butt. You see a face like this.
Fox.
Poking out at you from the brush, and you can tell, like, as you follow on this line, so you like unsheath your blade, and you see this thing, and like everyone else kind of like looks over now, and you see there's just like a fox like poking its head out from the brush, and kind of like just is like sniffing the meat, and it doesn't look to be like attacking you guys or anything, but it is kind of just like there. Kiri, because of your primeval awareness feature, you can just tell that this is just a hungry fox.
I'd just toss him a piece of my lunch, dinner.
He like hungrily like snaps it out of the air like it doesn't even hit the ground, and he chews it and kind of just like sort of just like he was on all fours, now he kind of just sits and is like up on his like front legs but like sitting on his haunches.
I hold some in my hand and do that like crouch but approach slowly thing.
You can tell he's very skeptical of you. But
And
you now, like, getting closer to him, you can see he is kind of gaunt, and, like, you can tell he's probably really just, like, more worried about the food than his own safety at this point.
So I get about as close as I can before he starts sort of reacting to it. What would that be, like 20,
You get, like,
30
5 feet away from him before he
Whoa,
kind of,
what
like,
the fuck?
backs up a little bit, like, gets up off his hind legs and starts, like, backing away from you as
And then I toss it the rest of the way.
He again just, like, snaps it out of the air and just, like, watches you. And, like, if you take another step closer, like, he doesn't run away, but, like,
I sit down.
Fed twice now. You sit down.
Yeah.
Do you go fox face?
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I assume. Okay, have we had enough time to call it a short rest? Has an hour or so passed of just setting up camp simply?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd say so.
then I can go fox face again. So I do.
You see the way its pupils dilate that it was not expecting you to turn into a fucking fox. But, like, it kind of, like, startles a little bit, but, like, doesn't run away, and you're just, like, sitting there, like, looking at it calmly. And I take it, like, everyone else is kind of just, like, sitting still. No one's, like, no sudden moves or
I
anything
paid
like
attention to what was going, and now I recognize that Skulker's, like, trying to make a fox friend. I just go back to eating my meal.
that. So, like, after a minute of kind of, like, standing on all fours again, like, it gets to its legs with a start and it's just, like, looking at you. And then, like, you kind of just, like, study it, and, like, it studies you, and it just sits back down again.
Do I have any more snake meat on me to give it?
Yeah.
All of
You
it.
have about half of your dinner left between what you ate and what you tossed him.
I give him a third of that. No, a third of my dinner. So that would be 2/3 of what's left.
Okay.
But, like, trying to get him, like, closer each time.
He doesn't really want to seem to...
Okay.
You have to make me an animal handling check if you want to really coax him, like, further into past this 5-foot barrier.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to if there's no...
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So, like, you toss him the first piece, and, like, it's a little closer away, and, like, or a little closer to you, and he, like, kind of, like, hesitantly, like, waits for a minute, and then, like, takes a step forward, takes another step forward, and then just, like, snaps it off the ground and begins, like, chewing. And the second one, you're just, like, holding it in your hand, and you don't throw it on the ground. Like, he has to come to you if he wants this. And, like, Fox, like, again, like, kind of just, like, studying you, sees, like, everyone else around the fire kind of just going about their business. No one seems to be making any moves to hurt him or anything. And after 3 minutes of just, like, staring at you and, like, studying the camp, he just walks up to you and just, like, eats it out of your hand. Hesitantly, but he does.
Uses his front teeth to take it.
Exactly. Yeah, like, he kind of, like, takes it from your hand and then, like, eats it, like, at his leisure. Like,
does he like hand. Stick around a little bit after, or does he immediately retreat once it's in its mouth?
He pulls back a step and then, like, eats it, like, sitting on his hind legs, like,
okay,
front legs up, kind of just, like, gnawing on it.
I do that one other cat like not cat like that. The hold out your hand, but, like, with a, not a fist, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, with one finger partially extended as, like, a smell gesture, like how they like to smell you first as a greeting.
Like, you're just gonna hold out an open hand, palm down, kinda.
Kinda, yeah. Half open, face down, yeah.
Seems very skeptical of you, but it doesn't back away, especially because, like, with this check, you're obviously in the zone of, like, not moving quickly, like, it's very deliberate and, like, slow. Eventually he just, like, sniffs your hand, like, he kind kind of just like sniffs your hand. It doesn't really linger for too long, maybe like 7 or 8 seconds, and it kind of just pulls away and just like sits back on his hind legs again.
I'm trying to think if I want to cast a spell, but no. I'm probably just gonna at this point slowly get up and back away and then walk to the campfire again.
Okay. So you see Skulker like get up very slowly, and like Lulu kind of just like hanging out by the fire watching all this, like Anzu kind of just watching all this, Kiri and Darrow kind of just watching all this. No one really does anything. And the fox sort of like doesn't like close its eyes or anything, but like lays down on the ground and kind of just like puts its head on its paws and is just like studying you guys, kind of. And it doesn't like it doesn't look like shifty or anything or like afraid, but it looks like it's kind of just like lounging, like it's just observing.
I want to keep an eye on it to see if it reacts when he sees Lulu.
Seems kind of perplexed by Lulu, but doesn't seem very like startled by Lulu. This fox is non-magical.
I'm more glad that it doesn't seem like hungry when it sees Lulu.
You get a strong aura of evocation magic from the fox. Alright, so like it's now officially like nighttime. Like the sun has set. I need a watch order for the night, pets included, if you'd like to include them in it.
Yep. I want to make sure first that there's no scraps of food or hunks of stuff that's hanging out in the open, and anyone who has rations on their person, it goes in the bag of holding. Anything that can be considered food or edible goes in the bag of holding.
Wait, even like totally unopened rations?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It's a fox.
Lulu's not edible, not by a long shot.
You can make her disappear if you want.
I know.
But anything that smells like food should go in the airtight bag of holding, so that it doesn't
smell
crack.
But I won't
delicious.
sleep as well.
I just don't want this fox coming and ripping open our bags while we're trying to sleep.
Okay, we can put
All
our
right,
bags
so
in the bag
I'm
of holding.
giving you 12 rations to hold.
Why don't
Cool.
you put your entire bag in the bag of holding? Keep your weapons.
Bagception.
I'm just gonna hand it back in the morning, so you don't need to change your inventory or whatnot. I'm just saying for posterity's sake that I'm putting anything that's edible in the bag of holding. I'm gonna give it back in the morning.
Skulker ain't gonna have no posterity. Don't be stupid.
Okay, you can refuse. That's fine. I'm making a suggestion. Who said they were gonna take
Watch
first?
order.
Oh, I'll do first.
So,
Unless you want to stay up with your foxy friend.
Nah, I don't fucking know. Yeah, I'll go second to last, and then Lulu last.
What?
I mean, I'd like to be the last shift, but I'd either split it with Lulu or put Lulu after me.
Okay, so that would be myself, and Kiri, then Skulker.
Also has a shift with me because I don't have dark vision. So if you're doing a night stun and you're taking the last one,
Well, I mean, you could keep the campfire stoked.
Yeah, but typically when you're like at a campfire, it's still like it limits your vision.
That's true. You're not going to get 60 feet from a campfire.
Exactly.
Typically.
In fact, it's probably going to shorten your night vision, so.
Well, this is D&D. It's magical.
Still.
It magically fucks you over.
Yeah, that looks right. That looks like the proper order.
Yes.
The proper order where Skulker still has to deal with something.
If I'm going to take my shift, though, I'll be up in the tree so that I can see further.
Ooh, nice. That's a good idea.
Smart. Smart.
I'm intrigued by the fact that whenever I'm rolling on something where low numbers are good, I roll like a 2 or a 1, or like lower than 4. You all make it through the night, taking your respective shifts. Forest has a kind of eerie sort of vibe to it, especially like once the moon comes out, and like the silvery mist along the ground creates like a very odd, almost like spectral feel to this place, as like the creeping tendrils of mist sort of work their way along the ground. The fox sticks around through the night. He doesn't seem to be up to no good either, especially with the fire being where it is and like having been fed a hefty portion of like cooked tasty meat. He hasn't moved from the spot where he laid down, but he has closed his eyes. And those of you, like, he does stir when you guys like wake each other up to change watch and stuff, but like after studying each of you for a little bit, like kind of just goes back to resting.
One of those, it's like, is it still sleeping and its eyes are open and looking at you? I'm like, okay. And then you look away and you look back and it's sleeping again.
And you can tell it's keeping its ears perked. Like, it doesn't seem like it's completely like passed out, but it does seem to be lounging by you guys. It at least acknowledges the fact that I can get food from these people.
Cool.
Another pet. Because someone won't give us NPCs. No, I'm kidding.
What are you talking about? You have Lulu and I have Anzu.
Those aren't NPCs.
Nani?
Give me an NPC that can cast spells. We need a fucking cleric now. Let's go.
Damn! I'm insulted for Darrow.
We have a blood cleric right there! And he doesn't...
You're right. We need multiple clerics with how much shit we get into.
We need a cleric for the cleric.
Yes.
So, the morning comes. And the night goes without incident.
Nice. Like it.
Fox friend's still, still hanging around, but he has gotten up and kind of started moving. He's, like, poking around in the woods now. You can still see him. He's keeping, like, maybe, like, 150-foot circle around the camp. Like, he's not just leaving, but he is kind of just, like, doing Fox things, like, fucking around, sort of, on the outskirts of the camp.
He's foxing around.
Lol. I didn't even think of that.
Towards the town. Carefully.
Well, good point. Do we even know which direction the town would be in?
Presumably south.
What's it?
If you're in the forest that Skulker claims
Southwest.
that you in, Croydon would be south of you.
Okay. Do you have a way to disguise us, Skulker?
I can make you smell like booze.
That's... I'm pretty sure you used up the rest of your booze when we were down in that
hold
tunnel.
up.
You'd be surprised.
We had the slave stuff with us, didn't we?
So, for up to 10 minutes, yes, one of you. Or
No, but
both of you
we took
as
the
one
clothes.
thing.
Didn't we take the clothes from the slaves?
Right, you have the slave rags, but...
We can
You
do
guys
something
have,
of that.
You guys do have, like, alternate sets of clothing, but you are still, like, a bird person, Geralt of Rivia, and Darrow, like, walking around. Clothes might not do the trick. To anyone who knows what they're looking for, at least, a different set of clothes would not disguise them from
Right,
you. Disguise you from them, I should say.
Right, yeah. That we more need things to more largely alter our physical shape. Which, okay, brand new day. I get to pick new spells.
Well, since it sounds like you both want to be disguised, I could disguise you both together as a centaur, maybe?
Robots in disguise.
That doesn't necessarily lesser eyes on us.
No, but I mean, if
But
you're
it's
worried
not a
about
bird
particular
person and a
eyes,
devil boy.
who know best bird person archer, and well, you. As I think a
Yes,
centaur
I
would
understand.
really
I
throw
have
them
horns
off our
and I have
scent.
blue skin. I am weird looking. I know this.
Oh, that's not what I was getting at, but okay.
And
So I think
you.
a centaur, like we don't have a centaur in our party at all. That's never been associated with us. So I think that might. But if you're just worried about being seen in general, then
Whoever would like to can roll me history checks.
Why the fuck not? Because I don't read books, clearly. I've never opened a book in my life.
can the fox roll a history check?
Ha! There's my low rolls.
So Skulker, the only thing you've ever really heard about centaurs, like other than the fact that they exist and they're fucking half horse and like all the obvious things, as far as where they're from, there aren't really centaurs like on this side of the Shiver Peak Mountains that you know of.
Oh, so
Most predominant centaur populations are on the other side of the plain or the other side of the mountains in Kryta.
Okay, so that would be an even worse idea. Excuse the noise. I have to swat a bug.
I had to murder the wasp that was attacking me, so that's okay.
Oh, this thing is named a wasp. This thing's a pussy in comparison to that. By this thing, I mean me. Ha!
Sound effects necessary.
Very necessary.
8. I get 8 spells.
This spatula-like implement gave me advantage on the attack. Hold on.
Clearly not, since you have to go again.
6. I already have 8 paired.
Okay, so yeah, centaur is a no-go. I got nothing. I could disguise you both as Skatha, maybe, if you think you both together fit in that kind of a frame.
Kiri on my shoulders might.
Actually, yeah, because then the wingspan, that's right on the money. Where the fuck is this bug I killed? Guys, I can't loot the corpse. Shit. Well, I guess that bug's living forever somewhere. Yeah, like, what, do you guys have any ideas?
Could you put the
spell
what is
in
that?
chat? Yeah, silent image.
Yeah.
That's a weird
Versatile spell.
I mean, if you want to keep Kiri on your shoulders all day, Skatha fits inside a 15-foot cube.
Also, fun fact for future reference, the cantrip version I have that says 5-foot cube, keep in mind that if like you use the diagonals of the cube, you can get more than 5 feet out of it. If you don't need 5 feet in every direction.
Yeah, it's true. You could do. Well, yeah, yes. There's ways to cheat that. Like you could make a 5-foot wall that's 2 feet deep, or a 10-foot wall that's 2 feet deep. Yeah, I think let's head south and see if we can check out of the trees. Maybe Kiri do some sky level scouting, and if there's a way for us to get between the edge of the forest and the town itself within 10 minutes, we should do that. If not, then I would say move into the town in the cover of night, but that won't necessarily help us. It would probably lower the amount of normal eyes that are looking at us, but the Syndicate's still going to be keeping eyes out.
Wouldn't Syndicate have an easier time at night?
Yeah. So along that note, we should probably just try to see if we can find some kind of royal authority looking figure immediately, and just hook up with them. thinking they might be a safety net.
Gotcha.
What if they're in a relationship? Sorry.
Well, extra blackmail.
You said hook up. I don't know. My mind's in the gutter perpetually.
Make it a threesome. I don't know.
Exactly.
Let's continue
All
on.
right.
Yeah, so I guess head south, and if Carrie wants to do ground scouting or air scouting, just
I'll take air scouting. I think it'll be easier to see a path, even though it makes me a little bit less inconspicuous.
cool.
You said ground scouting?
Air scouting.
Air scouting? So you breach the tree line, and there's nothing of like immediate suspicion that reaches out to you. You can see though, like very clearly, you have a couple miles of forest, like it probably like 2 days worth of travel of forest just ahead of you.
Okay. Cool stuff.
2 days worth of air travel.
So you all walk for about half a day. So it comes to around midday. The fox has not stuck around. He was kind of trailing you guys, but like you kept going to look for him, and like he became continually harder to spot until he was just no longer there.
Yep.
Skulker, my apologies.
Well, he didn't keep feeding him.
Skulker missed out on what you're apologizing for, so you can get away with it if you want. No, the fox ran away?
The fox has faded into obscurity. It kept up with you guys for a little bit, but...
Okay.
So you travel...
We never saw any of its fox friends?
No.
Poor guy. I know the feel.
So... you travel for a midday, and even though the sky is perfectly clear, the forest, like the light starts getting like dimmer as you continue along this path that you're walking on. And you make your way to this clearing, and you see that the mist clears, and there's like a small pond in front of you with maybe like a 40-foot radius, probably a little bit wider. In the middle of it, you see a statue. Roll me a religion check, anyone who wants to identify the statue.
A religion check.
I mean, of course, we
I don't
all
read
always
books,
want to
but
roll.
I'll roll it. Oh, apparently I do read books. Probably
Lulu's
longer.
not big on religion.
So the sun is kind of in Darrow's eyes, so he can't really make out. Well, actually, nah. The light is dimmer around this pool. You see a statue of the goddess Melandru sitting on an island with like a 5-foot radius, so like a 10-foot diameter island sitting in the middle of this pond, and it looks like there are some things resting at the base of this statue. You can't really tell what they are though. They might be like jugs or something similar. And along the shore, about like 40 feet down the shoreline, you see some like big white shape on the ground with like the mist lapping at it, and you see that like the mist around the edges of the lake, like the water is like dark and black and like this weird like murky sort of like swirling. It almost looks like a pool of oil with like a faint bit of water mixed in it. You can tell by just like the way it's like swirling about that it's like non-homogeneous. The mist at the edges of this pool kind of starts to turn into like this almost like black, like more of like a smoke than like the silvery white mist you've been seeing. And there's like a large white shape at the edge of this pool. It appears to be a horse, but the longer you look at it, You see it's very distinctly not a horse.
It has a horn on its head.
It's a centaur. Oh, yeah, that.
Anyone who would like to roll me a nature check to confirm in character that they know what this is may. As I'm sure you've all seen.
Skulker apparently has seen all of the unicorns.
So, like, Darrow and Kyria are just like, is that a fucking horse? And Skulker just, like, sees the horn and his eyes light up. And what do you say, like, either to them or to yourself as you lay eyes on this unicorn?
It's
Something
like
you've only ever heard of.
It's like a Lulu horse.
You have no idea how much Lulu appreciates that comment. Everyone, remember this moment. It will never happen again.
Lulu horse.
Remember this majestic sight, and you will slowly understand what it is after the fact. Like, I imagine Skulker going wide-eyed and actually, like, describing such a thing to them would give enough pause to it.
So you stand there for another minute as, like, another few, like, moments as Skulker's explaining to you what this is, and the longer you look at it, you can see that it's, like, taking these long, labored breaths. It is not dead.
Is it laying or is it standing?
It is laying.
I will carefully and slowly approach it.
Yes.
I will tell the rest of us to hold back. And in the same line of sight. But the idea being that only one person should approach it. We don't want to crowd it if it is actually in trouble.
So.
And we don't want to act like we're surrounding it.
Okay.
Wait a second. Or 90 feet. Let's see, 90 feet. Can we get... Okay, are we already within about 90 feet of it?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, I have to cast it at a level. 3 nat 1s in that roll. What the fuck?
Are you trying to put it to sleep? I was going to try to heal it.
Yes, you can also heal it. I just figured it'd be also, like, better for its psyche and just simpler. Don't want it to try to run off while it's almost dying and then have it kill itself, trying to protect itself from people who are going to heal it.
Right, but it also won't acknowledge me once I heal it. I want to be acknowledged by Senpai.
Oh my god. Maybe it has more than 15 points of health left in it then.
Well,
so Darrow,
you did
as you're approaching this unicorn, you see it just, like, for a second you think it dies, and then you see it's still breathing, and you look over, and you see that Skulker... Hold on just a sec. Does the spell have
verbal?
Somatic or verbal? It's verbal,
does,
somatic,
both.
and material. So you can tell just looking over at Skulker that he has just put this thing to sleep. The breaths are less frantic, but they are, like, shallow, like, weak breaths now.
Okay, I will walk. Let's see, what's the range on this? 30 feet. I'll go 60 feet away from it to take a look. Does it have any of this muck on it? Are there any wounds on it? Is it touching any part of this murky pool?
So wait, you're going
60 feet away
from the unicorn?
Correct. Like, I'm approaching, because Skulker had to...
Oh, approaching it like
I'm going
at a
30
slow
feet.
pace.
On the way to approaching it, yeah, not like he backs up to do this, no.
Tough to really say from where you're standing now.
Okay, I go to 30 feet. I move another 30 feet in. So I'm now 30 feet away from it.
I send the bunny
Still
to catch
kind of
up to
tough
him.
to really say. It's like laying on the ground. You can't really get like a solid like it is at the edge of the pool, so it is being like overlapped by some of like the darker mist and like the lighter mist as it's laying there.
Okay.
I send Lulu to catch up to Darrow. Carry on, Darrow. The bunny
Thank you.
will assist you.
I'm going to verbal. I do a chant in a divine language I overheard from spying on a monk, and cast healing word at a first level targeted at the unicorn.
You feel the magic leave you, but you can't really tell if it's like benefited the unicorn in any way. And as you get like, do you continue approaching it?
Right, after seeing no effect on it, I will go another 10 feet closer. So I'm 20 feet away.
Still no truly discernible details from like this far away.
Do I know anything about Melandru?
Yeah. You know she's the goddess of nature and like earth and such.
Oh, so she's not a dark god.
No.
Oh, I was thinking she was some evil god, and that's why there's a pool of evil around here. Okay, so clearly this is not supposed to be like this.
Debatable. Kidding.
Shit, I really wish I had that spell prepared. I feel like that's the curse of. Never mind.
Prepared spells. You never prepare the right ones. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yep. Prepared for a different type of scenario today.
Yeah.
Well,
such is life. Do you want to try a potion?
Well, I'm gonna go closer. I'm gonna go. Let's see, what was I? I was 20. Go 10 feet away from the horse.
It's now that you're like actually starting to get close to the thing, you can see there's like, it's got like this dazzling white hair like covering its body, but you can see now that you get closer that there are these like black like rivets. Like there's a lot of them coming away from its mouth, almost as if like they're veins kind of, but like malignant, like dark veins or something. You see a couple like on its body and its forelegs also. It's got the same like hue to it as the water in the pool does. Like I use that word loosely, but like
so
substance
is it
in the pool.
lines coming away from the unicorn towards the pool, or are these like veins that are popping out from the unicorn that are part of its body?
The latter.
Okay. Is there any part of the unicorn that's in the pool?
No.
Okay. So it looks like this thing was corrupted. That's I really wish I had the spell prepared.
I mean,
And I hate to say this, but I wasn't planning on being so late at work today. This is where we're gonna call it tonight.
Okay. I need to write it down.
Prior to the casting of this spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn! I really wish I had prepared detect evil and good in my inventory.
Yo, to be fair, I had that one for a while, and it in the other campaign, and it had yet to do me any fucking good for the longest time.
Yeah, that's one of those
spells. That kind of a situation. Like this is probably the first time where you could ever actually use detect evil and good in this campaign.
Right. It's one of those things that if you have it, that it's always prepared. Cool. You usually don't want to waste a slot on it.
Right.
So that will be our session for tonight. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. What's it called? So we will pick up right here prior to the prior to the casting of detect poison and disease.
okay.
Done deal.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on getting kept so late at work tonight, but this fucking guy
Yeah,
from
I mean, it
Shell
was only
at
like
our
a-
office, and yeah, I don't know. I'll
No.
also just have to get up early tomorrow. My work's been like running train on me lately. I'm
Dude,
supposed to
I
be
feel
able to
that.
leave at 5, so I was hoping to start at 6, but like 6 has become my new leave time, which is kind of pissing me off because it also starts slipping into like 6:15, 6:30, and like I worked like 60 hours last week, and like I don't know. So yeah, but I know next week there is nothing that will prohibit me from having a session as of right now.
Cool. I'm not going to be able to make next week.
Fuck.
I'm
Why
not
not?
sure if you're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Oh.
I am going to be flying back from California, coming back from vacation, and I'm going to be landing around 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Just buy the
Word.
in-flight Wi-Fi and then plan what we're gonna say like 2 minutes in advance, and then respond accordingly 2 minutes in the future.
I mean,
Right. And talk about
reason
Dungeons
I
and
was
Dragons
delayed-
and Black Ichor and unicorns on an aircraft.
The
That
reason I was
honestly
delaying the
the
Switch was to give
easiest part.
Paul as much time as possible. But I mean, if he's out for the game, would you be able to make next Tuesday?
I would be in for Tuesday, yeah.
Josh, Iga,
Yeah,
Same most
want to call it
likely.
Tuesday?
we can do Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Josh.
Tuesday.
All right,
Yeah,
fuck yeah. So I'll see all 3 of you for session next week then.
Hot
Two.
damn. 3.
What?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Heck yeah. Tuesday session.
That word. Thank you for your time, guys. I'll catch you all later. As always, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to hit me up.
Make it sound like a suggestion box that just goes straight to a shredder.
No, I mean, like, I genuinely, like, I don't know, any feedback I can get, I'll take it just because I want to be, like, a good DM someday.
Right.
So I
He's
will
already
take
a
any
good
stepping stone
DM,
I
and
can to get there.
someday is today, so there's
Yep.
that.
Yeah, as opposed to a chaotic evil DM.
The unicorn explodes into flames! Fight Asmodeus!
Dear
All
God,
right.
All right, catch
Have a
you all
good
later.
night, guys. Take
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Good night.
Peace out.
Alright, you guys, that will be it for us today. Have a good morning, evening, and night, depending where you're from, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.